Oh, hi. Sarah here, NextGEN Medium. Just gonna test this out. I actually recorded this episode already. Took me about an hour. And after I recorded it, it sounded like I was an alien. And I realized that a full hour was lost. And after I recorded it, it sounded like I was an alien. All right. That sounds good to me. Welcome to this week's NextGen Medium podcast vlog video. This is where you get the raw, unedited, expurgated version of the NextGen Medium podcast that will be coming out tomorrow. If you are listening to this watching this when this comes out. So if you don't know anything about me, I'm a psychic medium intuitive. And I came across this a couple years ago and realized a lot of things about this world that kind of confound me in a way that's like there's a lot of things about the stereotype of people who understand these things about themselves, uh, have uncovered these abilities that don't jive with me. Um, but nonetheless, I have uncovered these abilities after 34 years of not knowing I had these abilities. And so it became my mission to give my truth and my understanding about this whole weird, soulful world and to really bring forward the instinctual nature that it is, that it's a birthright for all of us, and that there's a lot of things that are pressed upon us in sort of stereotypical ways, either to scare you or to make you feel like you don't belong in this world or that you aren't a part of this world. And it's my mission to show you that yeah, this is a world that you are invited to, and you can do it right now. You're already a part of it, and you might not even know how. So I have my Pike's Place with me, freshly brewed, and in my daughter's new llama cup that I got from the Rock and Art Shop in Bangor, Maine, for Christmas. And I really need it right now. It's kind of late. All right, here we go. We're going to record the podcast. So today we're talking about steps to become a psychic. And in this episode, my glasses are dirty. In this episode, I'm going to be addressing why I used that particular phrase. Also, why that phrase has a lot of misunderstandings in it. Also, what it is that you're really looking for, perhaps, that I think a lot of people are looking for when they're looking for that particular phrase, when they're Googling that phrase. And maybe you're one of those people. So we're going to talk about that this week. My glasses are cleaner. Still kind of dirty. That shuffling you're hearing is my daughter, Lucy. This is her cup. This will represent Lucy in our conversation. And she doesn't know I'm recording right now, so it's probably she's going to start dancing and all kinds of crazy stuff. You will also get to witness the microphone slowly, gradually descending as I'm talking, and it will irritate me, and then I'll have to fix it. And you get to watch it because this is the raw, uncut, unedited version of the podcast. It's real life. She's going to start dancing or something, I swear. And then the furnace is going to go off. When the furnace goes off, I stop. I don't want that in the podcast. The furnace is like 15 feet over that way. All right, we've begun. Let's get into it. One more sip of coffee. I need it. Okay, that's probably not the best place for it. I'll put it right over here. Okay, here we go. This is how I do my podcast. Hey there, Sarah with you, NextGEN Medium. This week, we're going to look into a phrase that's actually a very searched for phrase: steps to become a psychic. Now, in this episode, like I said, this is a popular search on Google. I did my research. I found it was a popular search, but there's a lot going on with this phrase that has a lot of misinformation, um, some things about it that don't jive with the soul world that I am intimately a part of, stuff that I've uncovered for myself, the truths that I have. So, we're going to talk about this phrase: steps to become a psychic. We're going to break down the phrase. We're going to take a look at the misunderstandings that are present in this phrase. We're going to consider the different things this phrase implies. What we're also going to talk about, I'm also going to bring up suggestions of what you maybe should be searching for once we kind of unravel the misunderstandings. I'm also going to answer the questions that you may really have to get you the development that you are seeking. And that is coming up this week on NextGEN Medium, the podcast. These are my notes. 4 pages. 4. F-4. Oh boy, it's going to be a long one, you guys. Get ready. Sit back. Get your Pike Place brewing. And I'm going to take one more sip because mama needs it. All right. Here we go. Like I do my intro, which is the same thing I do every week. Hey there, Sarah Nickerson. I have started NextGEN Medium, and it's all about uncovering your psychic abilities, your intuitive abilities. These things are not you. They are a part of your everyday life. Maybe you just don't know it. I believe that intuition, psychic abilities, mediumship abilities, these are part of your toolbox. There's the furnace. I'm going to stop. Let the furnace do its thing. Oh, boy. Raw, baby. Doesn't get more raw than this. I'm going to take advantage of the situation here. I got a new setup this week. I actually, last week on the video, I was sitting on the floor. And this week, I have obtained a teeny weeny futon, which was my daughter's futon. And now it belongs to my son, Jack, who doesn't really use the futon. He's 3 years old and he doesn't spend a lot of time in his room. So the futon was in his room just sitting around. And I was like, you know what? We got to put that thing to use. I want to sit on something. So I got my nice little futon. I even have some new things that I bought to make it feel like an office. Look, a little pen holder. Fancy. And that looks like the new Pantone gray. That's the color of the year, one of them. Yeah, I keep track of that. Yeah, so that's it's much more organized. I actually moved in here a couple weeks ago, and we went to this store we have in Bangor. It's called Restore, and it's a part of Habitat for Humanity. So I think they go into places, and if people don't or businesses don't want stuff, it goes to that store, and like it gets donated, and then people like me can come in and be like, "Ooh, dividers? Ooh, I'll take that." So it looks like I have a little cubicle set up in my basement, and it sections off a little space for me. The house, it seems like it's getting smaller and smaller. I think the pandemic really brought that out, um, when we had to find space for everybody to live harmoniously in this house. We have 5 people living in this house, and it's a little crowded sometimes. But it's so funny. We're actually looking to put the house I'm living in, on the market. We had our realtor come over, and she took pictures of the house in February. And then literally, like, the week where we're like, okay, I think we're gonna put it on the market, that's when, oh, and someone flushed the toilet. This is real life, people. Raw. The week we were gonna put it on the market is when shutdown started happening, and then the market here, like, out. I live in Maine, so a lot of people from out of state are coming here because it's not so populated. And if if workplaces are offering for people to work from home, then it gives them the opportunity to just leave Mass or New Hampshire or New York and move to Maine, which is great for those people. Not great for people like me who wanted to find a better living situation for our family. And now the market's just like carved right out where my price point is. There's never anything. And if there's something, it gets bought up right away. It's so frustrating. All right, the furnace stopped. Hi, Sarah Nickerson here. I'm a psychic medium intuitive, and I found this out a couple years ago. And when I did, it became my mission not only to share my understanding of what I've learned, but to also let other people in on this amazing discovery that could be a part of your life as well. I believe everybody is psychic, everybody's intuitive, everybody has mediumship abilities. I believe these things, and I believe this can be a part of your life too. Part of it has a mystery component to it where everybody wants to be like, ooh, superpowers. And once it becomes a part of your everyday life, then it takes on a whole new meaning. And then you start to really see the benefits of why tapping into these skills becomes very important in your life. It creates a life that's easier to live. Um, it's full of abundance. It's full of prosperity. It's just a happier life. It's a different experience. It's there's more compassion for people. There's more love. There's a higher purpose that becomes a part of your everyday and more integrated in your everyday moments. And so this is what I want to share with you. So this week we are chatting about steps to become a psychic. It's a popular phrase. I actually used a Google tool that showed me how popular of a phrase this is. It's one of those more popular ones that people are looking for across the world. You can even, look for this kind of stuff, the phrases that are associated with it, and you can see how popular it is, how many people are searching for it in states, in the United States, or in a country. You can see how many people are looking for it. Were looking for it last month. How many people were looking for it in a year? It's a really useful tool, especially if you're in marketing, and that's where I learned it. And so I found this phrase and I thought it was really interesting because there's a lot of things about this phrase that are misunderstandings of the soul language, of understanding that aspect of this soul world, a world integrated with that aspect of you. So, what do you really want to know? That's what we're going to boil down to eventually. And then there's one question that you really should think about before pursuing soul work. So, that's a heavy one. and I think it'll be worth the time. So let's begin with the first thing in this phrase that catches my attention, and that is a psychic. Okay, so we're looking at the phrase steps to become a psychic, a popular search term. The first issue that I come across is the phrase is a psychic. Okay. So if you listen to NextGEN Medium, you know I have a beef with a psychic, even though that's how I introduced myself today. I am well aware of that. But there are certain norms, certain understandings I kind of have to be aware of when I'm talking about this stuff. And maybe to people who are new to this world, this soul world, the language that we use to talk about this world. Hey, Vera. That's my other daughter. She's laughing. So, a psychic, that gets me going because it denotes that some people are psychic and some people aren't psychic. And my understanding is that psychic is a tool in your toolbox of being a human being, and it is your birthright. So maybe searching for steps to uncover my psychic abilities would maybe be more in line with understanding this soul work aspect. Which leads me to issue number 2. Steps to become a psychic. So this conveys an understanding that you are not a psychic, that you do not possess psychic abilities. So you don't think you have abilities. So why would you think that? Uh, First of all, we all have those abilities. So maybe you're just not aware of that. But maybe you aren't aware of what psychic abilities are. Psychic abilities are kind of more clairvoyant when you're able to know what happened in the past or know what will come in the future. It's usually very visual. I'm not going to say that it excludes any psychic senses, but I think that psychic sense of clairvoyance is really what defines psychic abilities in the sense of being able to see the past and be able to see the future. I should say sense the past and sense the future. And that way it doesn't just pinpoint it down to clairvoyance. Vera, I am recording. I'm not laughing. You are laughing. I can hear you laughing. Stop laughing. All right. Well, I'm glad you're joyful. Just do it quieter. And I've got the recording to prove it. Okay. Okay. So those are what psychic abilities are. So the other thing is that maybe you just don't know what to look for or what to be aware of. So I gave you sort of a definition of what psychic abilities are. And there's a difference between kind of logically knowing what it is versus experiencing it, being able to look outside of yourself and objectively be able to kind of connect the pieces. That's a psychic ability. And I think one of the issues for both of these things is that we are waiting for an exceptional experience, something that's going to hit you over the head and just, you know, dumbfound you, when in fact, psychic experiences can be very subtle. They can appear very subtly. So We're looking for that huge, you know, um, hugely impactful experience when in fact they can happen very subtly and they're just as much a psychic experience as those big ones. Vera! Come here, Vera. Come here. Now you're going to talk to the people.
No, I'm not going to talk to the people.
Come sit down.
No.
This is what you get for laughing, tee-heeing while I'm trying to record my podcast.
No, I was laughing.
Sit down. This is Vera. Say hi, Vera.
Hello.
She was tee-heeing while I'm trying to record.
I didn't know. I was laughing.
You were. Okay. So stop it. I love you.
I love you too.
Do you want to sit here while I talk about this and I can talk to you about it? She doesn't care. Vera, what's it like to have a psychic medium mom?
I don't know.
Do you think kids with other moms experience life differently than one that has a psychic medium mom?
A little bit, maybe.
Do you think I'm a psychic medium?
Yes.
Why?
Because you do this stuff and you're pretty good at it.
Why do you think that?
Because I can hear you when you're doing your readings and it sounds like you're getting a lot right.
I did not pay her to do this, but guess what? She's going to get some extra shampoo next time I go grocery shopping. Okay. You are dismissed.
Okay.
Can you get me some coffee?
Yeah.
You're the best. Stop laughing, will you? Or go, you can chill it with Dad upstairs. Jack's in bed.
Okay.
There it is. For real. You're going to be all right over there?
I got some coffee in my eye.
She got coffee in her eye. That could be good for the eyes, I'm thinking. Okay. Raw, unedited. This is what you get. Guest appearances. All right. I don't even know where I was. Subtle appearances. So the other thing, I'm going to keep going like nothing just happens. So the other thing with become a psychic, that particular phrase, that could convey an understanding that you're not psychic is just that you don't recognize your own abilities. And it's hard. It's hard to discern, like, is that furnace going to go off again? Oh my God! This is what I get for recording at 8:30 at night. At the beginning of January. Hey. Okay, thank you. Now I gotta wait for the furnace. Look how hot it is. Thanks, Vera. Okay. Just scared of what she's gonna do to me in my sleep. What payback I'm gonna get for this. Waiting for that furnace. Become a psychic. I want to talk. I do. Run out of things to say. This was a different part. Oh my God, I haven't even gotten through the first page. Oh, maybe I can mention the website, nextgenmedium.com. This is a website I set up where I have my blog and I have my vlog videos and my podcast stuff. It's all right there. And a lot of people come to my website to check out the blog. Um, I I'm very strategic on how I phrase things because I know what people are searching for because of that Google tool. um, so the point is to get people to the website so I can maybe feed them a little bit of information to help clarify what it is they're looking for, but also to kind of set an understanding that may be clarifying the misunderstandings. So my big thing is I see psychic mediums, intuitives that do what they do. And they've been doing it for so long. And the way they describe that they've always had knowings of their abilities, I think just made me automatically think, well, that's not me. I either am or I'm not. And that's not me. I also feel like there there's sort of this secret that everybody can be a part of it. And I think if everybody knew that they could be a part of it, then some of these people who are, making their living doing what they're doing, um, being these messengers, um, giving comfort and whatever, even with the best of intentions, it gives me the impression that there's exclusivity to it. And maybe there's even motives to not share that this is like everybody's thing. Um, and I just like, I can't deal. I can't deal with that. I think there's so much to gain from getting in touch with this stuff. And that's why I'm doing what I do. Plus, there's a lot of bullshit out there, and I like to talk about that too. Because it's not incense and crystals, and I'm not saying that that stuff doesn't help. In my experience, it really isn't a part of what I do, and it doesn't have to be a part of it. Maybe it helps, but I don't like that consumerism stuff anyway, or the institutional stuff. So the other thing to think about with become a psychic and it conveying that you don't think you are psychic, or an understanding that you are not psychic, could come from the fact that you just can't recognize your own abilities. In your normal experience, day-to-day life, how you live your life could very much be telling of your psychic abilities, but because it's how you do what you do, you're in automatic mode, you don't really take the time to kind of dissect the thoughts going through your head, or, how you live your everyday life. You're just doing tasks, right? You gotta go drive to the grocery store, and then you got a grocery list you have in your head, and you're trying to avoid this person, and you're trying to find a deal. And so you have all these things that are running through your head, and you're putting these blinders on because that's how you live your life in a way to sustain, right? To sustain your energy, sustain wanting to keep living, your sanity. But being able to kind of take those blinders off and take in what it is that you do and how you do it, might show you that you, in fact, do get psychic messaging. You do receive it. You do sense it. You're just not aware that that's even a part of your process. You haven't objectively, consciously, actively looked at how you experience. And last of all, become a psychic could convey something entirely different. It could convey that there's a caliber or a threshold you want to meet with the psychic abilities that you are aware of, but you're looking for a more like professional aspect. How to become a psychic. Maybe you have the psychic abilities. Maybe you don't know how to control them. Maybe you don't trust them, but you know they're there and you want to go forward with pursuing being a psychic in a way of being professional, making a living at it, um, having it as a service to your community. Um, in that aspect, if this is the reason why you're searching for steps to become a psychic, you're aware of your psychic abilities, then you're already steps ahead. And going further in the process of evaluating, recognizing, testing, experimenting, experiencing, and evaluating just makes the process so much easier when you are able to say, I have psychic abilities. Now what? The last issue I'm going to talk about with the phrase steps to become a psychic is the concept of steps. Becoming aware of your soul abilities takes a combination of using your abilities, of being aware of when your abilities are being used, of messaging that's coming in because of your abilities, discerning what is a message, what isn't a message, paying attention and focusing and not focusing, and having purpose of intention. All of these things happen at once. How can you put a step process to that? Perhaps I'm all about possibility, but perhaps it could be procedural. If anyone has seen a list of steps to become a psychic, please send me a link. I'd like to take a look at it. Seriously, I want to see what's out there. Because here I am saying that this phrase, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm open. I'm open to being wrong. I'm open to seeing a procedure of this. From my experience, my truth, learning to be aware, to test, to trust, and train, it's very similar to solving a Rubik's cube, solving a Rubik's Cube while playing Jenga, and learning a foreign language. You've got so many things going on, using so many different aspects of your senses, of your judgments. Um, it just, it, I just don't know how you could do a step by step guide to something like this. It takes multiple awarenesses, growing awareness, growing attention, focusing attention, maybe putting attention where attention's never been before. There's also an evolution of reality. One word I use a lot is reframing. Reframing. You're already framed. Now you gotta reframe it. Or you vogue. Creating new associations to things you already know. New ways of sensing to reference what you already sense. One thing that I have noticed in how I explain where I put my focus and attention is I've become more aware of space and place. So, the X, Y, Z coordinates, the 3 dimensions and beyond, that's what I'm talking about, space and place. So, with this concept of steps, there's just so many different experiences that you have, and they're all small, or there's some big ones, but they all yield new understandings and insights. And so, completing steps to create a piece of IKEA furniture takes just a physical form. You're putting this thing and this thing, and then this thing goes here. You use this screw, and then you put in this thing, and then there's another thing. But the steps to create understanding takes increased awareness and reframing when it comes to soul work and its discipline of intuition and concentrations in psychic mediumship and healing abilities. How can you have a step where it's takes more than just logic? It takes experience. It's not that easy. Okay, Sarah. I'm talking about. You know what's happening. Okay, Sarah. Okay, Sarah. So, steps to become a psychic isn't cool in your world. So, what do you think we should look for? Well, what I think people are mainly looking for with this particular phrase that I found and that we're using for this episode is people are looking to trust, train, and control your soul skills. And maybe very specifically, those psychic abilities. But I think maybe we're looking for something more broadly like your intuition. My understanding is intuition is the most intimate experience of working with your soul. It's a language to learn to better understand your soul concentrations. I thought of this analogy, you guys. I thought of this. So, I have a bachelor's in communications with a concentration in audio engineering. So, the school is School of the Soul, okay? University of the Soul. But there's different schools in the university. There's the business school, there's the nursing school. Well, there's also a communications school, which we will call School of Intuition. So good at this. So, I have a bachelor's in intuition. My concentration could be psychic abilities, it could be mediumship abilities, it could be healing, and it could be other stuff that I'm just not even aware of because I'm so busy. That's my awesome analogy, you guys. I'm building it. It's working. So, what I think you are really trying to search for, or at least what I would recommend you search for, is how to develop my intuition. Intuition is your partner here on earth, and its relationship connects you with the spirit realm, the soul realm, in order to receive, witness, and communicate in ways that are most intimate for you individually. That furnace is going off again. Just do it like a band-aid. Just rip it off. Rip it off. That furnace is going off again. I'm just going to keep going. Building this foundation allows you to learn the language of spirits, helps you to learn to trust it and witness its power and direction in your own life. It is your passenger. Now, when I wrote that phrase, I was thinking of Dexter. It is not your dark passenger. Isn't that what he says? It's actually your light passenger. Thanks, Dex. A powerful relationship with your intuition makes advancing to those concentrations, your psychic ability, your mediumship ability, all that stuff easier. And it gives you more direction to work off of. You've already built that trust. And now you're learning to get into those. What are they? I've already said concentrations like 8 times. Into these more specialized ways of utilizing your focus and energy. Page 3. All right. All right, this one's going to be quick. If you're searching for steps to become a psychic, and maybe this has cleared up a few things for you, this whole episode here. Here are my steps to feed your inquiry just to get you started. Get ready, because it's going to hurt. Step 1, figure out which psychic senses are most heightened for you. So these are those clairs you hear about: clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairaudience. You got to know what you're working with. Once you have an idea of what that is, then you know where to focus. I got to put this microphone up again. Okay, I feel better. So, a little tip on that. What do you like to do? Are you an artistic person? Do you like to draw? Do you like to go to art museums? Well, then you're probably in the clairvoyance realm as a heightened sense for you. Do you love music? Do you listen to podcasts? Then you're probably clairaudient. It's that simple, people. That simple. And if you've had an experience that shakes you to the core of your understanding of what is possible in this lifetime, such as a psychic experience, how did you experience it? Was it a visual thing? Did you hear something? Was it something you felt? Those are telling. If you need a little help with what clairs or what, then go to my website, nextgenmedium.com. It's right in the blog. It's one of the first posts I did. Step 2, figure out where to focus to receive messaging using your strong psychic sense that you've decided to use. So this takes experimentation. Always recommending meditation because it helps you block out everything else that's going on and to focus that attention. If you are clairvoyant, I can give you this tip of my own experience that think about where you go to visualize, where you go to daydream, where you go to complete a project. Let's say you're in the yard and you're looking at all these leaves you got to rake, because that happened to me. And you are plotting. All right, I'm going to clean this space first, and then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do this. How are you planning that? Are you visualizing it? Where is that happening? Now, I will say it took time for me to recognize the actual place and space that happens in my space, in my bubble, in my brain. It's really in my brain. And actually, I put it like right in my eye. It's right here. Um, it's right here, like in my brain. It's right behind my right eye. That's where I would say physically, spatially, that's where I see my imagery. It's weird, but it's something I became more aware of the more I used it. So experimentation is really going to help you with that. Again, multifocal, global awareness. Using one sense is good, but there are more senses that you have. And you might find that, especially if you look at that Claire list that I have for you, You might be able to identify other things that speak to you, and the more you experiment, the more that those things are going to be clear. I did not realize when I started that claircognizance was a big, big, big one for me, in which I just have a knowing. I just have a knowing. And it could just be information processes so fast for me in some way, somehow, that I have that knowing and it just happens. I don't know how to explain that, but that's just what I get. But experimentation and being aware of everything that's kind of happening, being able to scan your body, what do things feel like, scanning what you're hearing, what you're knowing, what it's it's in you. Now you got to pay attention to it. You got to have a little discernment by dissecting what you do already. It's already there. I promise you. I got to wrap this up. Step 3, learn to focus without expectation. For example, when I use my mind's eye, I will go there with a task, such as if I'm working on a piece of artwork, which I haven't done in like 15 years, um, I go there to visualize the next line that I'm going to draw or the color that I want to put in. Now, when I use my mind's eye for my clairvoyance, I go to that same spot, but I go there without a task. I hold a vision of nothing. And then I give it a second. If nothing's going to pop up, then I do like a 3, 2, 1. I bring my attention and focus to something else real quick. And that's when I get a flash of something. It's very sudden. It's there in an instant and then it's gone a couple seconds later, right in my mind's eye. So that's a trick I can give to you. What I would also recommend is to not go too deep with it. And that's why meditation can be a problem because how do I explain this? Going into a meditation puts you in a place where you start conjuring up things and you really want to be very surfacey with it. That's why meditation works for me sometimes, but other times I fall asleep. And maybe you're right there with me. But I think a good 15-minute meditation will help you get there, be there, and not go too far. Step 4, practice receiving messages without judgment. So things come in and you're going, oh, that's coming up because I watched this episode of Housewives the other day and she had this board filled with salami and pastrami and cheddar cheese, and that's why I'm thinking about cheddar cheese. Shut up. Listen. Don't dismiss. That is not your job. Your job is to receive. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Nothing's coming through. Don't. That's getting in the way. Don't self-talk. Just leave it alone. Step 5, document your experiences. You know this is a big thing for me, documenting. Notice patterns with your documentation. This is like the one of the great things about documentation. You notice the patterns that you don't see, that you don't realize until you see it written on paper or typed into your app or whatever. Documenting your experiences build an understanding of references and meanings. So, a reference I get with visuals is a set of keys. It used to be an actual house. Now it's a set of keys. What does it mean? It means a new move. Someone's got a new place that they live at. I understand this. Maybe I didn't write it down, but I noticed it as a pattern and I developed it as what does this mean to me? That's the meaning. Boom. So when I see a set of keys, it's a new place to live. And documenting your experiences takes experimentation and time. to develop those patterns and to develop the understanding, to develop the references in the meanings. Step 6, don't let your ego get in the way. This goes along with practice receiving messaging without judgment. That's like the same thing, actually. But ego can come in many different places. And I think why I said this was there are times when you're doing a reading and you're just not, it seems like you're not getting a thing. And actually, I'm going to make note of this. Where's my pen at? There it is. There are many aspects to doing a reading that leads to it seeming like you're not receiving well or you're not explaining well. Reasons for a bad reading. Bad. When I say bad, that's your ego getting in the way because you're judging it. Don't let your ego get in the way. It's easy to say that. You got to be able to identify when your ego is coming in and taking over. And then you got to be like, I got to be okay with letting go of this. Or else it gets in the way, it becomes an obstacle, and then you're just giving into the fear, which does not help anything. Step 7, decide when you've seen enough to know when evidence shows you the truth. Means you have to be objective, means you have to be honest, you have to be easy on yourself, and you also have to give yourself credit. When is enough enough? Maybe it depends on the experience. But if you got it right, you got it right. So how many times do you have to get it right before you realize that you are a psychic or that you have psychic abilities? That's what I should be saying. Step 8, accept your ability. Easier said than done. Because then when is enough evidence enough evidence? And then step 9, decide what you're going to do with your abilities. I got to finish this up. So once you complete all that, so there it is. Wait, hold on. So there you go. Those are my steps for you, a procedure to feed that inquiry of steps to become a psychic. Those steps are not easy to complete. And in some ways, they're so broad, it's hard to be like, it's hard to go into a step and be like, well, I know what I'm doing. Like, no, you don't. You don't really know. And part of that is just the experience of understanding becomes the knowing, becomes the knowing. There's a logic to it, and then there's the experience of it. That creates the truth. Hey, if this was easy to do, science would have already been all over this already, right? But science can't deal with it. So this is what I got for you. All right. So now, once you've completed all that, expect to have remissions, expect to have doubts, expect to have victories, and expect to have guilt. It's all part of the process. You are a human being, and that's what you do. Lastly, and maybe firstly, the question you should be asking is, once you convince yourself of your abilities, what are you going to do with them? What is the greater purpose? What would you do with those psychic abilities once you can control them? Why? What are you going to do with them? Why? Now, that one's a thinker, and that's actually going to be an upcoming topic. And I'm going to leave it there. All right. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Oh, no. Hold on. God, I just spilled my water. Ugh. Okay. All right. My knees are killing me. Raw, uncut. And I gotta wrap this up. Oh my god, another hour-long episode. I'm so sorry. I hope you're loving it. Special guests, lots of yelling. Maybe I cursed at some point. Ooh, hot takes. All right. I'm going to leave things right there for this episode of NextGen Medium, the podcast. I do want to give some special shout outs to some very special people out there who donated to nextgenmedium.com. Um, I believe all of these people I gave a free reading to recently, and they just could not accept that the experience and the education I was getting from their readings about my abilities uh, was satisfactory enough, and they insisted on donating. So a big thank you to Jasmine W. of California, USA. Big thank you to April G. of Texas, USA. We had some difficulties with our reading of times and time zones, but I got you, April, and she's got me. She helped me too. And a big thank you to Mari C. I'm always so scared to say her name. Of California, USA. She's brought a lot of people my way, and I just want to thank you so much, Mari. And she was my first contributor ever, and big thank you to you. You guys are great, Jasmine. I gotta have another conversation with Jasmine because she's wonderful too. So thank you to all the donors, and you can donate too, just a one-time donation at nextgenmedium.com, and you can help continue the podcast. You can help continue the website. If my content has helped you on your journey, if my relationship with my soul work is a viewpoint that you share as well, if you think this information should be shared with others, that they would benefit. Someone flushed the toilet. If you want to donate a new house where I can have my own office, where people flushing the toilet or the furnace going off or someone tee-heeing 10 feet from my little walls here, if you think that would help the next gen medium experience, then please donate a house. I'm getting ornery. Can you see? It's because it's 9:30. I already recorded this once. And I got to edit this podcast. It's going to be fun. Okay. And you can donate too. Just a one-time donation is all I ask for. You can do that at nextgenmedium.com. I've got donate buttons all over the place. And I ask if my content has helped you on your journey, or if my relationship with my soul work is a viewpoint that you share as well, or if you think this information should be shared with others worldwide. Continuing that effort. If you think that this is beneficial to people, I ask that you go over and donate at nextgenmedium.com. And I even have price points. So $10 helps pay for 20 days of the podcast. $25 helps pay for 42 days of the website. $50, 100 days for the podcast. And $100 helps for 167 days of the website. And so this information is worldwide, and you can maintain that by your donation. You can also sign up for the email subscription or newsletter with NextGen Medium. I'm not being very active with that stuff right now, but I got some big stuff on the way. Lots of experimentation I want to do with people who want to be a part of it, who are going through their soul process, who want to get to know their stuff more intimately, like you're doing, you're pursuing it. And it's stuff like I wanna test stuff out on people. I wanna see what works, what doesn't work. I wanna see what resonates with people. I envision this to be a movement that becomes something that every kid in elementary school experiences as part of their education in the United States or worldwide. I can't believe it's not. But anyway, we got to start somewhere. And you can start by signing up for the email subscription with nextgenmedium.com. And there are more big things on the way this year that I plan on. And I want you guys to be in on it if you really like this stuff. Also, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Instagram. There goes the furnace. Oh. You're the best. All right, I'm not stopping. Podcast commencing. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Instagram. You can book an appointment for a reading or a sitting. You can also book an appointment for a mentorship session, and I make it super easy. You can see my calendar, you can, flip through it and be like, nope, that doesn't work, and then see an opening and be like, that's my time. You choose it, you put down the deposit, it is yours. It is that easy. Go to my website, nextgenmedium.com to book an appointment or to donate, and you can check out my blog there. You can check out the vlog there. You can check out the podcast there too. That does it for this week. Thank you again to those donors, Jasmine W., April G., and Mari C. Oh, I'm so nervous saying her name. I always think I'm going to mess it up. I just got it in my head that that's how it happens. Without you guys, this podcast, this website might not be happening. So thank you to you guys. And thank you for anybody who's going there right now to donate. And I will chat with you next week on Next Gen Medium, the podcast. See ya. Bye. All right. Did it. Oh my God. How does this go over an hour? There it is. Raw. Unedited. Like superlatively so. So note to self, no more filming in winter at 8:30 at night, because then the furnace goes off. So I will say that I was going to do recording yesterday, but because it was, or the day before, because the day before was New Year's Eve. And I was pretty sure that my son had daycare that day, and then ended up that he didn't have daycare that day. So I was like, I was going to record the podcast that day. So new schedules coming my way, new routines. So maybe I won't be so ornery for these recordings. So like I said, go to the website, nextgenmedium.com, and you can donate. That helps keep the content rolling. I want to, build an empire. I shouldn't be saying that. I want you to join me on this journey. And if you have any questions, feel free to go to my website and fill out a contact form. If you have questions about your journey, it helps fuel the content that I put out there and helps answer questions that you have. I like to email people. So if you have a question, I'll email you back. But it also gives me inspiration to talk about things that other people have questions about. So you have that question. I know there's somebody else out there that has that same question. And I like to address it using my experiences, my truth. That's all I can do. And always with the intention that it will be helpful. And I will always lay it out. Like, I'm not sure. This is how I understand this. Yeah, so feel free to contact me on the website, nextgenmedium.com. And I think that's it for this episode. Cheers to you. Happy New Year. And keep on keeping on. Take care. Stay safe. Bye.